Hi betting experts, on Saturday, February the 3rd, we've got a 9-race extravaganza covered exclusively on ITV on Saturday. The Gold Cup Grade 1 from Leopardstown in Ireland. Really good action from Musselburgh and Sandown. The ground, well, it's yielding over in Ireland on the softer side, though by far no means as bad as it often gets over there in the winter. At Sandown, the ground's going to be ride dead, according to Clerk of the Course Andrew Cooper. Had a dry week in Esher, 12 degrees, dry weather. It's going to be pretty cloying, I would imagine, but it has dried out. And Musselburgh, all about speed round there, just on the softer side of good. We start off with our betting expert Daily Nap, sponsored by Bet365. This runs in the 2 o'clock at Sandown. It's a handicap chase over 2 miles, a small field, and a really good opportunity for In Excelsis Dio to turn some promising efforts into victory. Now, he was really eye-catching on his first run this season, finishing strongly from miles off the pace. They then overdid things, I thought, at Cheltenham, where he's up on the hammer throughout, going for home too soon and getting tired up the hill. But he's shaped really well. He's ahead of his mark. There's no doubt about that. I think this stiff course on drying, decent ground will really suit him. He's only had 6 runs over fences. There's more to come from him when everything clicks, and I'm expecting Jonathan Burke to ride a patient waiting race here and pick these off up the hill. Our betting expert value angle selection, sponsored by Bet365, goes in the 310, a premier handicap hurdle over nearly 3 miles, and I think Ed Keeper is very much one to keep on side of here from the excellent Sam Thomas yard. Now, Sam has got a cracking team of young horses in the yard this winter, and his progressive handicapper, I think, will relish this drying ground and strong-paced in the biggest field of the afternoon. He found the heavy ground sapping his finishing effort at Cheltenham last time out when he was incredibly well back 5-2 favourite behind Butch in one of those competitive Cheltenham handicaps. But if you watch that run back, he cruised through the race, cantering all over his rivals, trading short in running, and just flattened out, having made a mistake at the last. He's got Sam Twiston-Davies back in the saddle this afternoon. I think everything's in place for a big run. He's a fair price for me, 6 or 7 to 1. I think he'll definitely go really close. By the way, he's going to be a cracking novice chaser to follow next season. The remaining 7 races on ITV, we'll spin through them in time order. Over to Sandown for the 125, a novice handicap hurdle over 2 mile 4. Magical King, the one to side with here. I think Stuart Edmonds, a yard we really like here at Betting Expert. He doesn't have that many horses, but he places them carefully, and he has a good strike rate every season. This unexposed novice will relish conditions here. He's a maiden. He's only run 4 times over hurdles, but I think this test of stamina up the hill will suit the former point-to-pointer, and he can power through late under Kieran Gethings. Up to Scotland to Musselburgh for the 140, a novice limited handicap chase, a small but select field over 2 mile 4. General Officer comes from a yard, Donald McCain, going a lot better now. They were missing in December, then they had the big freeze, but they've come back to their best in the last week. 3 winners in the last 14 days. He's a consistent chaser, and I think this test of speed over this 2 mile 4 trip will suit. Back to Musselburgh for the 215, the Edinburgh National, a marathon slog over just shy of 4 miles. A disappointing field for the money, blinding prize money, but I think Innis Orr is very much one to be interested with the visor fitted. Now, Lucinda Russell's chase has long looked as though needed a proper slog, and this near 4 mile trip should suit ideally. Derek Fox, who's been out injured for some time, is back in the saddle. He's a patient jockey. They'll go a good gallop here, and they get racing a long way out of Musselburgh. I think the leaders can come back to Innis Orr, and he can pick these off late. Back to Sandown for a small field for the Scilly Isles novice chase, a grade 1 over 2 mile 4 at 2.35. Well, Colonel Harry's a horse I really like, and I think you're getting a decent price this afternoon because he was unimpressive in winning at Wetherby last time out. But if you watch that run back, he kept making niggly mistakes, which isn't him, I don't think. He probably found the Wetherby fences coming up quick enough, and it was a little bit of a sharp test on the day, but better ground here at Sandown, good ground. He's a strong traveller, and I think he'll overpower these up the hill with Gavin Sheehan booked, who's riding at the absolute top of his game. Incidentally, Colonel Harry would be one of the more interesting runners, an outsider perhaps, but an interesting runner in the Turners at the Cheltenham Festival, one to look out for in the anti-post lists, perhaps before he takes this prize, hopefully. Back to Musselburgh for the county hurdle at 250, sponsored by Bet365. A really good race this, class 2, 0 to 145, so some good horses in the north. Paris Encore, well, he's more exposed than most, but he's running really well, and I think they're going to go a proper fast pace, which will suit him. He's quite a free-going sort. He's won 3 from 12 over hurdles. All of those wins on ground, no worse than good to soft, and I think things can be set up nicely here for him to pounce under Danny McMenamin. Back to Leopardstown now, the 3:35, the day's big one. A disappointing small field for this Grade 1, which is always the story in Ireland, dominated by Willie Mullins. Or Gallopin Deschamps, well, he was so impressive over Christmas. I know some people have tried to say, well, he was wide on the best ground, which is probably true, but he had the race won before they turned for home. He was right back to his very Gold Cup winning best, and I think he'll land a short price here before going on to defend his crown in March. And finally at Sandown, a 3-mile handicap chase to finish things off at 3:45. I like the top weight here, Blackjack Magic from the excellent Anthony Honeyball yard. He's a tough, durable stayer. He looked one to follow up the weights when given a positive ride at Wincanton in November. Excuses last time. I think he's going to make all the running here. He's less exposed than most of these. 3 wins from 6 starts over fences. Rex Dingle booked. I can see his jumping being a real asset over the railway fences. Best of luck with all 9 ITV races on Saturday, betting experts.